today. So you are currently in ESEAP Hub Capacity Building session, and in today's session, we're gonna have a discussions and topic about Wikidata. And I believe some of you are quite experienced with Wikidata, and even if you are not, you are also very, very much welcome. Next, what we're gonna do is that we'll start with a little of ice breaking. But before that, because this event is for us all and this is recorded, so several things is that this is going to be recorded, but the conversation that we'll have will not be recorded. We'll only share the recorded part whereby the speakers are speaking and sharing about the Wikidata and also a bit of exercise. But because we have seen several AI note taker, we're not giving AI note taker uh, for today's meeting. You can check the note taking or like links and any other things on the um, document that we have shared with you before. So I will remove one of the note taking. Okay. Next, everyone, first thing first, before we start off, let's start with when and what was your first aid added in Wikidata? Mine is okay, which was like postal code. I think I think mine is during SEA Games, like the event that Butch was part of as well. So we were editing some athletes' information, and it was really great to have that edited done. Camillo having an Italian Wikipedia article connected to Wikipedia article. Some answer 2 years ago, forget about that. Mid 2024, identified an item, interwiki stuff. Interestingly, Cassie never added Wikidata. So we probably will have new Wikidata editor by today. Uh, about a year ago, don't remember what. Interlanguage link. Okay. Oh, population statistic. That's cool, Prue. You started with like a strong case. Oh, another person also never added that Wikidata. No worry, you will be able to edit Wikidata and using tools right away today. Next is what is your favorite Wikidata tool to use for those who have ever tried Wikidata and also already using several tools to edit. So maybe for those who have not yet added Wikidata, usually when we edit Wikipedia, right, we use references and like it's one article. I'm not really sure Wikipedia has a like the tool that you can mass edit right away for several articles. But if you do, just let us know. But Wikidata, it was crazy. You can basically import so much data at the same time. That's why the edit could be super, super crazy. There are going to be a lot of interesting facts that you will find uh, by our speakers. Okay, someone said quick statement. Mix and match. Mix and match. Lexica, a tool for Lexim. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, Jessica is also sharing a learning from Let's Connect training. Okay, we'll put this link as well so the others can recheck it. This ambiguator. That's cool. Also, sometime quick statement, yeah. Someone says at least favorite tool. Interesting. So I think everybody, some of you have tried Wikidata and some of you have not. But today, as you might have known, we will have these four speakers who are very amazing. Alan is here, and then also Prue is here, Taufik and Camilo as well. We'll learn several things today. Basically, the introduction to Wikidata, which is PET and quick statement for today. You'll get to see property dashboard with a little bit of exercise. So for those of you who are on your bed or using your laptop or phone, it will be really nice if you are able to open several tabs later to check and right away try it. So it's gonna be way way easier for you to replicate it later, as well as PET scan presentation with exercise. So once again, welcome everyone. You can join this, you can participate, you can share with us more. Without further ado, I will give the floor to Prue to continue.
Thank you so much, Felly, and it's lovely to be here. My role today is a bit of the link person, the network, and the lay person relative to the people that are presenting the key content. I'm also going to try and keep our agenda flowing in something of a logical order. Or we hope it's logical to you. The big question was, should we start with what's in Wikidata and then look at the tools to retrieve the data? Or should we assume that there are gaps in Wikidata and look at the tools to identify those gaps? We've kind of gone the second way, the second approach. We're going to start with Alan giving an overview. Those people who ticked never used Wikidata, he's going to bring you up to speed and just go across some of the really fundamentals. And hopefully, those of you who are experienced will be able to get ready with questions and think about how you teach other people to use Wikidata. Um, then Taufik is going to look at what happens when you're trying to, what's a way to start looking at what's actually in Wikidata already, and just a quick look at items and properties that you might want to pull out. And he's going to do it through the property dashboard. So, and then we'll stop and have a bit of an exercise then to practice there. And then we'll move on to looking at other ways of moving towards putting data in to Wikidata once you've identified what you need to do. So I hope that that's all okay, and we'll be stopping every now and then because 2 hours is a very long time. So I hope that you all know Alan already. If not, you're in for a real treat with his overview, and do feel free to put questions in the chat. We won't stop for them then, but they'll be good to pick up later on. So, Alan, if you want to share your screen and get to presentation mode.
Hi, can you see the...
We're getting two screens.
Okay, let me just jump this back in.
Oh, that's a nice one. I've got the wrong one now. That's right.
Can you see my presentation slide? Oh no.
We
Let me
could
let me
just
let me reshare again. Sorry,
okay.
apologies. I've got so many tabs open that
Yeah.
and multiple monitors. Okay, let me see. Chrome tab, window. All right. I think this is the right one now.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prue, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Alan. I'm the Senior Partner Manager for Wikidata at Wikimedia Germany. However, I wear two hats. I'm also a Singaporean and a member of the volunteer of the Wikimedia Singapore user group. So as most of you here may know by now, the Singapore user group is not exactly a very big one. And we really love to support ESEAP activities. So I just wanted to share very quickly what is interesting about from a Wikimedia Deutschland perspective is that this year and the next year, we're going to put in a lot of efforts to support members of the ESEAP community in terms of Wikidata, capacity building, Wikibase capacity building, as well as data partnership activities as well. So if there's any questions or follow-ups that you want after this event, just feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'll be happy to continue contributing to the region. Just a quick overview. I only have 20 minutes for this session, and 20 minutes is actually pretty short. Usually we do this in like, 1 full day of workshop, just by editing Wikidata or even querying Wikidata, for example. So please forgive me if I speak a bit fast at times, and if at times the content seems to flow through quite very, very quickly. I'm sure there will be an opportunity in the future where we can have a more intensive workshop in person, whether it's 2 or 3 days, and then we can go dive right deeper into some of the key topics. So for those of our friends here who are new to Wikidata, this is just a quick overview and introduction. Wikidata is one of the largest Wikimedia projects. You'd be very surprised. Yes, it is. It is used, the data in Wikidata is used in a lot of technology and different projects that you use and see every day, just that we do not know. All the data in Wikidata is available under a CC0 license. What this means is that you do not need to seek, all the data in Wikidata is free to be used and reused by anyone without attribution, right? And what is very interesting is that the data in Wikidata is made for humans and machines. It is, like all Wikimedia projects, multilingual, collaborative, and it is arguably the world's largest free and open knowledge graph. So there's currently about 120 million items in Wikidata, so which is really interesting. Just a few numbers. It was launched in 2012 on October 29. So every year on the 29th of October is the Wikidata birthday. Different members of the communities in different parts of the world come together, and celebrate Wikidata's birthday. So as of March this year, there are over more than 120 million structured data pages in Wikidata. Those are items, properties, and lexemes. And every month, there's about 25,000 active editors on Wikidata. So it is, interestingly, the most edited Wikimedia projects. So the goals of Wikidata is to give more people more access to more knowledge. So it is not a database, per se. It is a free and open knowledge base, a knowledge graph that can be read and edited by both humans and machine. So this is a very important goal because the Wikidata team in Wikimedia Deutschland or Wikimedia Germany work to provide and make sure that the project in itself is both machine and humans readable and editable. So Wikidata's goal is also to provide support inside the Wikimedia projects, like Wikipedia, Wikimedia Commons, etc., as well as outside Wikimedia projects for different users, whether it's enterprise users, government agencies users, or even free and open source projects users as well. Our goal is also to provide a free usable repository and a hub for link open data. So since last year, September last year, Wikidata is now officially recognized as a digital public good, same as Wikipedia. In case for those of us who are not aware of this, what this means is that digital public infrastructure projects, by different government agencies in the world can now use Wikidata, and because it's a recognized digital public good, in their various projects. So Wikidata's goal is to be, at the backbone or in the center of all the various Wikimedia projects for the structured content and the structured data. And this is an example of a use of how Wikidata's data as an info box in Wikipedia. So as you can see, in the Wikipedia page, an article, for example, you will see different context, the different text that's relating to Maya Angelou in this case. And on the right-hand side, you see an info box, which is Maya Angelou, and you see the different structured data that comes into this page that gives you an overview of Maya Angelou, and this data comes from Wikidata. Although, just to add on, not all Wikimedia languages use Wikidata in the info boxes. So for those of us who are new here, I'll just give you a quick run through of what this is, what Wikidata item looks like. This is important because as we move into the quick statements, so as a querying Wikidata, then these concepts are very important and useful. So for those of you who are new, who are experienced here, please bear with me for a moment. So very quickly, every item on Wikidata has a unique item identifier or QID, we call it. And then if you have in layman's context, okay, you have a name for this item. It's actually called item label. Maya Angelou is an item label, and Maya Angelou has a unique QID called item identifier. And then as an editor, you can also say, oh, I want to create or describe this item better. So you can include item description, and you can say, oh, Maya Angelou is an American poet and author, and it's between 1928 and 2014. So if as an editor, you also know that Maya Angelou has different aliases, right? Then you can also include these aliases in the creation of an item. So after you have done so, or after you've seen an item on Wikidata, you also see that there's this term box here where it shows you the various languages of the item label Maya Angelou in different languages and description as well. So this is very, very powerful and very, very interesting and very useful. So if you do see an item in Wikidata that you are really interested in, but it's not available in a language that you're familiar with, so please feel free to edit of Wikidata and add a label under your own language that you're familiar with. So it is important to understand how data is being structured on Wikidata. So the data on Wikidata is being structured in a triple structured format. It's modeled according to this triple structure, where you have an item identifier, you have a property, and then the corresponding property is a value. So in this case, Maya Angelou has an item identifier of a Q number called Q19526, and you want to give more context to this particular item. So you go into the statements category. I don't want to, I know it sounds a lot, but just take it easy. A statements section where you can choose the property that would best describe this item that you're creating, as well as the corresponding value. In this case, because we are describing Maya Angelou as a human and not Maya Angelou as a film or Maya Angelou as a book, so therefore the instance of Maya Angelou in this case is a human. And of course, being an editor is also good practice to always add a reference. Let's say, for example, if you know that Maya Angelou's date of birth is 1928, it's also good practice to include a reference to where do you get this information from. So besides that, you can also have different properties as well that will give more context to the item that you've created. In this case, award received is a property, and the corresponding value to this award received is the National Women's Hall of Fame. And of course, this is the value that you put in, you chose, right? And if you put this in, then it also makes sense for you to qualify, okay, when did Maya Angelou receive this award? So you can qualify it as a point in time, and it's 1998. And of course, like I mentioned earlier on, it's also good practice to have a reference to it. What is interesting that I have not mentioned is that the corresponding value for a property is also another item in Wikidata. So if you see this, blue, the National Women's Hall of Fame is actually another item of Wikidata with the QID Q1967852. So Maya Angelou in this case is instance of a human, which you've seen before, and human is Q5. She received an award. You can put a place of birth if you know the place of birth. You can put a spouse name if you know the spouse as well. And then so therefore all the data in Wikidata are linked to each other. So a quick summary. Wikidata is made up of items, just a very simple overview, and every item has a random and unique Q number, right? A triple structure is used to model the data in Wikidata. Item, property, value. This is very straightforward. That's all you need to remember. Additional detail can also be added to statements through qualifiers and references, which gives more context and more notability to the values that you are adding. And also items are linked to each other as well as in other catalogs and databases outside of Wikidata. Hence the name link data. So what this last point means is that Maya Angelou in this case can also be linked to a catalog in the German National Library, Maya Angelou, where they also have an item of Maya Angelou, and then the GMD and the and Wikidata can therefore be linked, connected together via external identifier property. This will come later. If you're interested in Wikidata, then we hope to have a deeper conversation in the future on how to do this. I also want to share very quickly as a segue to what some of my colleagues will be speaking later in terms of what's going to come upcoming is this thing called wiki projects in Wikidata. So there's wiki projects in Wikipedia, and of course in Wikidata there's also wiki projects. So wiki projects are dedicated to addressing information quality, ensure that the quality of the information on Wikidata are of standards, right? Content gaps, as well as maintenance on the content of Wikidata, as well as help to build community on Wikidata. So if I'm speaking too fast, please let me know because I can't see my video screen. I can only see the presentation deck. Yes, so editors join wiki projects to improve specific areas of Wikidata. So for example, if you are new to Wikidata and you just start editing Wikidata, but you have got some pet and favorite topics, right? Say, for example, you love books, and not only books, you love biographies, for example, and you want to contribute to Wikidata, the different book titles, bibliographic data, authors on the books that you love. And then you can also join wiki projects books on Wikidata to better understand what kind of properties are used and how do you describe these properties as well as the corresponding values that you can add into the properties, right? And this wiki projects brings members of the Wikidata communities together so that they can come together and exchange ideas and also share their experiences on how they model the data and put into Wikidata. I just showed two examples here. There's a wiki project Indonesia, and a very extensive discussion on topics on Indonesia in Wikidata, as well as if you like sports, for example, then you can also join wiki project sports. Like my case, for example, I join wiki project sports in Aikido, Kenjutsu because I love Japanese martial arts. So I also do that as well. And of course, because I'm a Singaporean, I also actively try to be more active in the Singapore projects and also other themes as well. Okay, so there's different ways to edit item on Wikidata. I'm not doing justice by going through so fast. Okay, please forgive me. So usually it's not like that. Usually we take time to for newbies to understand how to edit. But in the interest of time, just a quick overview and skim through. I've mentioned earlier on in passing that there's we can make edits of Wikidata manually as an editor, right? Just click edit button and then you just go into create a new item, or you can make edits on the different statements in Wikidata. But there's also a way to edit Wikidata non-manually. I mean, in a bulk edit format. Say, for example, I mentioned the example of, let's say, if you are interested in books, right? And then on your bookshelf or in your catalog, your own data catalog that you have got 100 books that are not on Wikidata, all right? And you want to share this book titles, the bibliographic data, onto Wikidata, and it's like, if you manually put them in one by one, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort. So there's a way to use a tool to do this more efficiently, which is a bulk import. So this tool is called Quick Statements, right? I think some of our friends in this chat group have mentioned that Quick Statements is one of our favorite tools as well. So let me very quickly just do a quick run of what Quick Statement is like. So you will be able to have an understanding and idea of how to use it if you are interested in doing the bulk edit or mass import into Wikidata. So the mindset is very important. This is why I always try to suggest to new users of Quick Statements is take your time to prepare your data and model it properly. If you do it right, then you have no problems in the future. This is interesting because, like I mentioned earlier on, it's also very, very important to understand how your data can be modeled in a way that makes sense to the different items in Wikidata. This is why joining wiki projects will also help you to move this in the right direction. So as a newbie in Wikidata, if you have 100 books and you want to put them into Wikidata, but you do not know what properties to use, what values to have, where to put the qualifiers, where to put the references, how to put in date and time, for example, into Wikidata, then it makes sense to join the project group and then learn from other people who are also working on the similar topic as well. So that's why modeling a data and preparing a data properly in a CSV file, in a spreadsheet is something that is important. So take your time to do that. There's no rush to do it, haphazardly. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all do. Mistakes in individual items, if you make mistakes on items, can be fixed manually later on. So don't let this be a mental block in trying to edit Wikidata or using a tool like quick statements, right? So some pre-import preparation. Some of the requirements is that you need to auto-confirm the Wikidata account to link the login of your Wikidata account on quick statements. Quick statements is an external tool, right? And it, like I mentioned earlier on, the tool enables you to bulk add and also edit data from Wikidata. And then you can do it in two syntaxes that's available for the commands, V1 and CSV. Usually I use CSV. So what is also important is if you import data into Wikidata, as I mentioned earlier on, all the data in Wikidata are licensed CC0. This means that anyone is free to use and reuse Wikidata, data in Wikidata. Always make sure that the data that you import into Wikidata, they are licensed and compatible to the CC0 format. So what this means is that do not put data into Wikidata that is that has got hints of connection to someone's address, private information, when you're using the tool. So please check and make sure that the data you want to import to Wikidata are CC0 format, right? No personal data, no address, no credit card number, nothing. So please be very, very sure about that. So if it helps, read the quick statements help guide here. I've put the link here. And also make sure that the items that you wish to import are not already in Wikidata. Because if the item that you want to import and add into Wikidata already existed, then it doesn't make sense to do that, right? Then you have duplicate items and it's not really nice. So what is good is that, do this due diligence process and to make sure that, in your list of 100 books, none of these books are already existing on Wikidata. So to prepare your data, so decide whether you wish to import via the V1 commands or CSV commands in quick statements. You can click the link here to see a list of different properties you can use to prepare your data. And also make sure that your properties corresponding values already exist in Wikidata. Some of the mistakes that I made when I first started using quick statements into Wikidata is that I didn't realize, or I didn't do the due diligence to make sure that the values really exist in Wikidata. But making sure that it really exists with Wikidata will enable you to have a smoother process in this import process. So for the two versions of quick statements using V1 commands, you can check out this video link here in 2020 for version 2.0. And also for version 2.0, I also put a link here to Introduction to Quick Statements from Data Leveling Up Days 2024, organized by Wikimedia Deutschland, Wikimedia Germany, right? And since last year, we launched, not we, but Wikimedia Brazil, in collaboration with Wikimedia Deutschland, we launched a quick statement version 3.0. That tries to help and resolve some of the issues that users have, previously in 2.0. And I put a link to a tutorial and a user guide with videos here. I always like videos because videos would help you to understand and see and visualize the learning process better. Yeah. I'm not trying to say, okay, I'm here to teach you how to do quick statements. I'll put the link in the resources here. If you're really interested in wanting to have a in-depth how to do quick statements let us know, and definitely I'm sure our organizers here will be able to organize a purely quick statements kind of event that we can do it. Yeah. So this is just how to get started kind. First, you go to quick statements. You can access them via the link here for 2.0 and 3.0 here. Log into Wikidata, of course, and then log into quick statement using your Wikidata username through OAuth. I think this is something that everyone kind of quite familiar with now. And then you can select a new batch, right? And then you can copy and paste one of the items that is pre-prepared in a spreadsheet to the blank space in the quick statements. And then you can choose either import v1 commands or or CSV command, depending which format you've modeled your data in. And then you click that import, and then you see this nice little bar that if it's all green, then it's all okay. That means that the first trial is good. And then you can import the rest of the item, select new batch, copy and paste the rest of the other items from a spreadsheet into the blank space in quick statements, and then click import either V1 or CSV. For me, I usually use CSV because I model the data in that format. I know it sounds a bit trivial when I just mention it here. Usually this is a slide when I go into a full demo and workshop, but in the interest of time, this is to have understanding. And of course, please check the links for the different videos and tutorials. And again, if we wish to have a more in-depth session, I'll be very happy to work on this in the future. Querying Wikidata. So you have all the data in Wikidata, but if you are unable to query the data on Wikidata, then it's not very useful. So what this next topic I'm going to talk about very briefly is how to query Wikidata on Wikidata. Yeah. Through the Wikidata Query Service, WQS, this is what it means. So Wikidata uses a query language called Sparkle. Yeah. Sparkle queries allow users to ask very specific questions about information included in Wikidata, and therefore allows the user to tap into Wikidata's repository of structured linked data. So if you go to Wikidata Query Service, if you go to Wikidata page, on the left side, there's a big column, and there's the Query Wikidata, and then it brings you to this page called the Query Service. Please allow me to run through very quickly what this interface looks like, right? Don't be scared by this. This is it looks scary, but this is why we are here, to ease you in if you are a newbie in Wikidata. So if you go to the home page, the main page of Wikidata Query Service, you will see this little exclamation mark. Okay, let's start with examples here. So for a newbie, it makes sense to say, okay, look at, let's take some examples of how to query items on Wikidata. So in this case, this screenshot that I took, I chose cats as an example. So I click the example and then I choose cats, and then this, you see the content here, the Sparkle language content here, that tells you, okay, how does it looks like, right? And then if you click this blue play button here, it actually tells you that you want to tell it to execute the query. So once you click this, after a while, a few seconds, hopefully not too long, you will be able to see a list of the results right at the bottom. And the results here, on the first column, you see Wikidata items, because this points you to the link to the different individual items. And then this is the item label, the labels associated with each item. Now, having said that, you can change all this, right? Depending on how you write the Sparkle query. But in this example of a already preset example for newbies to learn about how to query Wikidata, you can see that this item and this item label in the two columns that's being shown the results here. And this is the label of this, the corresponding label of this item, and the corresponding label of this item. So this is like the name of the cat, because we are querying cats here, okay? You also see here this exclamation mark called Query Builder. So for those of us who are not very into Sparkle language, you can actually click on this exclamation mark, and it will show you. I'll show you later on what it looks like and how to make changes and make edits on it. However, if you are really still not very comfortable with writing the Sparkle, you can also click on this query builder, this little rectangular box here. It's actually the Wikidata query builder. It enables you to make query on Wikidata without learning the Sparkle language. So all this will, like I mentioned in the start of this presentation, that querying Wikidata can take 1 full day or at least 3 hours. Editing Wikidata is also another 3-hour workshop. So please excuse me if this sounds a bit like moving too fast or confusing. Trying to break it down as simple as possible, right? So the beautiful thing about Wikidata query service, or querying Wikidata using the query service, is that once you get a result, you see this 2 columns of just text, right? It may not be something that you are very appealed to, because it's just text. You can also go to the left-hand side here. You see this table, right? It's a drop-down list. This allows you to choose different ways to visualize the results of the query that you've made. So I put here just visualizations options, so you can choose to visualize it in a bubble chart, visualize the results in a timeline, visualize the results in different ways that you really see or helps you in your research work that you're trying to do. Yeah. I mentioned earlier on the query helper. So for example, just now was the cats example. And if you want to switch over from the cats example to find the zoos in Germany instead, what you can do is to say, click this exclamation button, you will see this window pop up, and then you can change the instance of the cats, to zoo, right? Then you can press the filter, you can choose instance of the property of a country, the corresponding values of Germany, and then you can show. So click this plus button, it can show you which tells you that how you want to be to show. And then in this case, there's an inception, right? As you can see, every time there's an option to click here, the corresponding Sparkle language is here, right? So you want to show in image, and then after that, you click that blue play button, and the results will show you, right? This is included in this presentation deck, which we show to everyone. So if you want to do it slowly, you can do it as well. I'll explain what all this means here in the next slide. But the query helper's role is to enable newbies to Sparkle, the Wikidata query service, to make queries without having to learn some expert Sparkle language. But it also shows you, left and right column, how it looks like, so you can learn how to do it better on your own. Of course, you can also get support from members of the community as well. Now, what does this mean, right? You see a lot of text here. You're a bit confused, but please fret not. This is just a quick overview of what this means. Let's start with this hashtag, right? If I'm not wrong. Anything that starts with hashtag is a comment in Sparkle that a query service will ignore. In this case, we put hashtag cats because we want to query cats or house cats, for example. And then you see the next line number 2, you will see this question mark with item, and this is a query that selects something, something that's based on certain rules specific within the query. In this case, this is a variable that we have chosen to name, the header of this column, for example, right? And it's called item. And then this exclamation mark indicates that this is a variable. So the name is something you pick for convenience, because as an example, it's always nice to show, okay, I want to see the items in Wikidata. And in this example of the cats, you will see the next one is the green one in the question mark item label. And it's a special kind of variable where it applies a modifier or label to the variable. And you can see this item label is being shown here in the result. Next, we have the where statement, right? So the where statement tells the query which kinds of values you want it to attach to the variables. Don't be scared. After a while you get used to it, what all this terminologies means, right? So you can see these curly labels. open and close curly labels. It is to enclose the instruction or the clause that's applied to the variables within this where statement. And here, in this item, for example, this question mark item that you have just put, it is actually this whole set is the core element of your query. So what we're doing here is we're telling the query service, this system, which pieces of the information we are looking for. We put WDT. WDT is what you start by putting if you want to choose a properties, right? P31 is what we've seen earlier on, instance of. There's a list of properties and the corresponding numerical numbers that you can have access to. That I've put a link there before, I think. So we know instance of is P31, and then the instance of, in this case, is a cat. So we have associated Q ID, which is the value associated with this property. It is Q146. So in this case, this value is a house cat, right? And this is where we are telling the service, the query service, to give us the Wikidata items where the instance of equals to a house cat. And then, of course, put a hashtag here, must be a cat. So it just gives you an idea of this is a cat for your own benefit, right? So, and then this line here, you can see service wikibase colon label, and then this is bracket and this long parenthesis. This line actually tells the query to use a service that will assign the property label. And it is a human readable value associated item. And of course, okay. And of course, there's a language here. We put English because you want to be English. Otherwise, you can also put it in other language of your choice. Yeah. So I apologize if it sounds a bit fast and it's a bit murky, but this is just a quick start to what Sparkle is, what quick statement is. Very happy to go in deeper in the future if we want to learn more and to experiment and do a quick demo on it, right? In the future. So I just want to put this out here. There's different ways to get to the data. The API is a way to get to the data on Wikidata. And then there's also the Sparkle, which you learned before, how to get data on Wikidata. Having said that, I just want to throw in a little bonus here. Right now, the Wikidata team is working on AI and Wikidata. And it enables us to say, okay, we have created a Wikidata MCP. That it enables us to connect the Wikidata MCP to different LLMs, and that enables the users to query Wikidata in a natural language format. I'm not sure if you can see what I've seen here, but let me see if I can share another screen. Share this tab. Can you see the tab that I'm sharing, which is the chat tab?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just a quick demo that I want to show you. We're using Mistral AI here, and I've done a quick experiment of asking what is the capital city of Malaysia, and then of course the results. The query results came is Kuala Lumpur, and then I say verify Wikidata, and then it says according to Wikidata, the capital city of Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. It confirms the information I provided earlier. So I also asked in the natural language way, what is the current Prime Minister of Malaysia? According to Wikidata. So I straight said, okay, tell me according to Wikidata, who is the Prime Minister of Malaysia? And then the results tell me this. If you can see, if I click here, it shows you, I say get statements. It shows you the thinking behind that, that is pulling data from Wikidata, right? And the whole thought process behind it. So, and from that, it shows you the capital city of Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur, Q1865. So I begin to ask more questions. Indonesia in year 2000, for example. I said verify Wikidata. So all this, even like in Prime Minister of Singapore, for example, and I asked to show me the timeline, show me the timeline of all the Prime Ministers in Singapore according to Wikidata. So it begins to show this to me. So this can be done mainly because we have connected the Wikidata MCP. You see the Wikidata MCP to this Mistral AI, and let me show this tab. this connector is actually, see the Wikidata connector here, right? And this MCP is something that my colleagues in Wikimedia Deutschland has worked on over the past 1.5 to 2 years, not only the MCP, but also the vector database. So the objective and the goal is really to enable Wikidata's data to be used by free and open AI projects, so that we can also improve the content that these large language models or Gen AI tries to show. Yeah. So this is also another way of querying Wikidata. If you prefer to use chat in natural language way, then fine. I'll be very happy to go more into how to connect the Wikidata MCP into Gen AI, and then we can move from there and how to query with Wikidata. Before I end, last slide here, there's also Wikidata mobile editing experience that our colleagues have been working on for the past 1 year plus as well. So we have improved the experience to edit Wikidata on your mobile devices. We understand that this is because there are many members of the communities out there in different parts of the world that do not have the privilege of having access to laptops, computers, and also broadband internet access. So some of them are actually editing on mobile devices, and the experience thus far has not been very nice. So we have managed to do some work to improve that. So yeah. Thank you so much for your attention, everyone.
Alan, thank you for that. Was incredible, and yes, thanks for the applause, because that was pretty much your 2-day workshop in 20 minutes. But it is good because it gets everybody to the same place and very up to date. So yes, we really appreciate that, and we will come back to questions. Feel free to put them in because I'm sure Alan can answer them now that he can have a rest his voice, and then at the end we'll have another chance to go into perhaps some screen shots or demonstrations. So the really great thing there, Alan, was you showed us that we need to develop our search or query skills to get the data out of Wikidata. And to build queries, we also need to get our hands dirty, get to know the properties and QIDs, at least the ones that are relevant to our interests. Although perhaps we can just wait till your AI connector is ready and then we don't have to learn them so much. But you also shared how important Wikidata projects are for community building and improving data quality. And so when we work with other people that have the same interests, we can all get things working and improving quality. So that's what Taufik's going to do, is really combines the query element and the wiki projects in order to check the quality of the data, and then from there, obviously, as a project team, people can move on and improve it. So Taufik, thank you very much. I'll let you share your screen. And we'll have a little break after this, okay? So for people who are getting a bit angsty, we'll be able to have a stand-up time after this session. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Pro. So, hello everyone. I'm Taufik, and I will be presenting a bit on wiki projects and as well the property dashboard that we will be learning today. So, as what Ellen said, like any other Wikimedia projects out there, like Wikipedia and even in Wikidata, there's wiki projects. So basically, wiki projects are where you focus on one specific theme to make all of the information complete or available in that particular theme. So, for example, There's a lot of wiki projects related to countries, like Wiki Project Malaysia, Indonesia, others, and there's also other wiki projects that focus on extremely particular topics in Wikidata. For example, like um, the athletes in Olympics or any type of sports that is presented in Wikidata. So let me share my slide. Okay. So this is some example of wiki projects that I usually do edit in these wiki projects. So this wiki project is called Wiki Project Every Politician. So basically, this wiki project aims to make sure all countries have their politicians to be fully available online in terms of their data. So here are some of the countries that have these projects. Other than this, there's also wiki projects on books. So we want to cover all of the books in Wikidata and make sure all of the data for each book is 100% complete. And then there's another one on Australian beaches. So this is based on the state of Australia. So if you go to any of these wiki projects, usually at down here, you can see the statistics. So, and you can find this table, this quite colorful table. So, the usage of this table is actually for editors because usually each editor focuses on one particular theme or topic, and then they handle a lot of data, a lot of Wikidata items. But then it's very hard to track if there's some missing data in one of the item. So for example, like here, so in Wikidata, Indonesian politician that has Wikidata item, there's around 52,000 items. So that's quite a lot. But then some of the items are edited or created by volunteers, by everyone. But then some of the item has missing data. For example, like here you can see for the sex or gender for the United States, there's only 99% of the item has this data, has this property. It should be 100% like in France because I think it's easy. We can find this data online, but then some of the data might be a little bit difficult to find. For example, like date of birth and more place of birth, because some of this data might not be available online. But then some data that should be complete, like member of political party, their position held, and others. So this is how the property dashboard works. Okay, so now we can see here that I'll use Indonesian. Um, there's 98% that has data for the sex or gender. So now, how do we find the items that do not have this data? For beginners, it might be difficult because for usually for other editors who are already know well about how to edit Wikidata, they know how to find it quickly, which is by using quick statement. But then for newcomers, new editors, they don't know how to use the quick statement, right? So by having this property dashboard, you can easily find. So who are these 2% politician who doesn't have the sex or gender property data? So from here, there's there's this magnifying glass. So you just click this. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it depends on also the tool itself. Let's try others. Okay, so this works. So this is the Australian beaches. So here in New South Wales, only 692 items that has coordinate location out of 694, which means there's only two item that doesn't has the coordinate location. So in order for us to figure out how what is the two item, we can click this, and then after that, usually it's better to use this one, the query service on the left side. So there's all items with the property set, and then the second one is all items without the property set. So if we go to the first one, it will list down all of the items that has that property, the coordinate location. So we just run this query. It might take a while because there's 600 of them. While we wait, we can go for the another one, which is we want to find what's the two item that doesn't has the coordinate location. We click this one. So they automatically generate the this sparkle coding. So for newcomers, you do not need um, to write your own. So the property dashboard creates for you. So you just click this. So it might take a while. Okay. So for this one, these are all the items that has this coordinate location. So it will list down all the 692 items. So here, so these are the two. So you do not need to dig out Wikidata and find each one by one item, which item that doesn't has the property. So you just use the property dashboard, and then you automatically use this Wikidata query service, and then they will show you immediately, not immediately, but few minutes for you to find the missing property in the items. So here, these are the two items, Hungry Beach and Park Beach. So you click this. So you just choose either one. There, as you can see, there's no property for the coordinate location. So after that, yeah, you can just add on later manually, as long as you have the data for this. Okay, so that's how the property dashboard works, functions. And now but not all of wiki projects has this property dashboard. For example, um, like this one for baseball. They don't have one. It depends on the wiki project itself. Some of the wiki project has more editors, more members, active members that they can create any of these tools, property dashboard. For example, like this one, wiki project dashboard, there's not that many active member. You can see there's only 8 of them. So it will be difficult for newcomers to learn by themselves. But then if you go to other wiki projects like Wiki Project Australia, Wiki Project Every Petition, Wiki Project, I think books, Wiki Project book doesn't has one. So it depends on it. So for now, since you can see that some of this wiki project has missing property dashboard, then what you can do is you can create your own property dashboard. So for example, like me, generally I would say I mainly focus edit regarding about politicians in Malaysia. Or some people has their own topics that they want to focus. For example, like museums in their own country, foods that you can find in your own country, and others. Because, for example, like this for Wiki Project Every Petition, you will be grouped with other countries that you might not really focus on. Because for some editors, they just want to focus on their own interests, their own countries, for example. So how you can do this? Um, so here we can go to the template page for the property dashboard. I'll show you here. Okay. So this is the documentation for the template. So for me, editing using with property dashboard is way easier than creating or editing the query service, because you need prior information on how to code the sparkle and others. But for using property dashboard, you just need to know a little bit for you to use it. So if you can see my my page, my user page, and let me show you here. Okay. So here you can click edit, and then basically you just need this 1, 2, 3, 4 parameters for you to create your own property dashboard. So the first one would be you need to figure out what topic or what theme that you want to focus on. So for example, like here, I want to focus on politicians that is from Malaysia only. I do not want to focus on politicians from another country, only from Malaysia. So in order for you to do that, then the first parameter, select the sparkle. You need to try to figure out one common property and the data that is common for all of the items. So, since I am focusing on politicians from Malaysia, that are Malaysian citizen, then you can, for example, like this one, you write this, let me zoom it in. You try to write WDT, semicolon, P27. So you put the property ID. So P27, let me, is the property for country of citizenship. So I write P27, and then after that, since I want to focus on Malaysian citizen, so I put the WD semicolon and the item ID for Malaysia, which is Q33. But if you only add these two, it will be only focused on any Malaysian that has an item. So you need to filter out because I want to focus on only politicians, not athletes, not actors, singers. So I'll add another one, P106. P106, if you check, is the property for occupation. So I put P106, and then the item would be politician. So the politician is Q at 2955. And for this one is the example property, and then Q5 would be human. Yeah, who knows, maybe there's other non-humans. So you just, to be safe, you can put this. After that, then you are done with the sparkle. So it's quite simple. It's a little bit simpler than the raw sparkle coding that you have to do by your own. For property dashboard, you just need to figure out what's the common property for the topic that you are focusing on. So as a recap, for Malaysian partition, it must be Malaysian citizen, and then the occupation would be partition, and also human. And then after that, properties, the third one, I'll go to the second one later. So the third one is what property you want to focus on, what property that you want to complete. So for example, like this, I want to focus on position held, sex or gender, date of birth, member of political party, given name, family name. So you need to figure out what property that you want to check the percentage. So you list down all of that. So here, P39, P21, and others. And then the grouping threshold would be 0. Unless if the topic that you are focusing on has me as thousands of items, then you can put a threshold, which means the minimum number. You can put maybe 10, 100, 1000 even. And then for grouping property would be this one, this column on the left side. So here I group it by P19. So if you check, P19 is I sort it by place of birth. So after you are done with this, and then you can publish your change. So here maybe I'll add another property. Let me see. Maybe I can focus on date of birth. So we need to find first what's the property for date of birth. Date of birth property. So it's P569. So I put comma P569. After you are done with this, then you can go down and click publish changes. Okay, so now for you to, if you want to have this table, you click this manually update. It will take a while, but then maybe in few more minutes, there will be another. Okay, so let's check. Okay, here. So it only took few seconds. So they've added another column here, that of birth. So that's basically how you can create your own property dashboard.
Thank you, Taufik. We're going to move now into people doing that themselves, and this should allow people to be very creative or to simply replicate your own dashboard. So thank you for staying on the line while we do that. And everyone is giving you applause, which is fantastic. Thank you. So what we're going to suggest, Taufik, if you put the code in the chat, and then people can put that into their own document somewhere. You could use your user page. That's what Taufik's done there. So good idea. You might want to start by, if you're new, find your country QID, and you can change Malaysia to your own country and go from there. I'll put one in a little while, which is librarians. So I'm not into politicians, but I'm into librarians, so we can do that one. I also think that if we just stop the recording now, please, we can take perhaps 10 minutes